My turning point happened in 2007. And I'll never forget the day. I had a lot of certainty in my life. I was a senior level executive at Ford. I was running a $5 billion sales and marketing organization. But I got to tell you, it was a day that I'll never forget. It was late December of 2006. My boss called me, and my boss proceeded to offer me a separation package, a voluntary separation package. I couldn't believe it. And that's the day that created uncertainty for me because I didn't know what I was going to do.
Welcome to the Hire Yourself Podcast, the show for senior level executives who are done renting their income and are ready to take control of their future. My name is Gilfillan. I spent decades in the corporate America before hiring myself, becoming an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and a franchise consultant. Now I help others stop relying on one paycheck, one job, and one boardroom decision. If you're ready to take control of your destiny, to build wealth, and to live life on your own terms, then you're in the right place.
Take a look around today. War, inflation, corporate layoffs, a rapid rise of AI, the political and economic uncertainty that's happening right now. And if you're in the corporate world, you're feeling that. Even if things feel safe on the surface or stable on the surface, there's lingering questions around the background, right? And how much of your future is actually in your control, right? My name is Gilfillan. Before becoming a franchise consultant and entrepreneur, I spent nearly 20 years in the corporate executive. I was a leader with Ford Motor Company and Terex. And like many executives, I lived through the cycles, the economic growth, the confidence, expansion, and then the contractions, the uncertainty, the restructurings and stuff like that. And then came the Great Recession, the moment that forced a very different level of clarity for me. I realized that no matter how hard I worked, no matter how I performed, I was still operating in a system that I didn't control. It was really a time for me to make a decision to step away from corporate world and set up something in regards to business ownership. So I invested in Junk King. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous. It was just something powerful. It was an essential service. It was something that allowed me to kind of move forward. So the purpose of our podcast is to really talk about this idea of looking at the world differently, to think strategically about your future. And today's episode is specifically all about understanding the move from uncertainty to control. Now, the question is, how do you create certainty in a very uncertain world? Is entrepreneurship, specifically franchise ownership, the path to do it? Now, let's be honest. Uncertainty isn't new. It's accelerating, though. It's continuing on, and it's getting worse. And most executives, their default response is just work a little bit harder, stay a little bit more visible, hope for stability. But after living through multiple cycles, especially 2008, I saw it differently. Corporate stability can change overnight. The moment in your career where everything felt solid, strong, great career path, confident in the future, and then the market shifts, decisions were made, priorities are changed, and suddenly that certainty disappeared. Not because of performance, not because of your specific actions, but because of the environment. And certainty, I know, comes from control. And control is a mindset shift. It's stop chasing security, but start building control, because control is the only real form of certainty. Now, why essential businesses like I did? Again, I chose to invest in Junk King. It wasn't random. It was something I was looking for that wasn't trendy. It was an essential service. I was thinking no matter what happens in the world, homes need to be cleaned out. Properties need to be maintained. Spaces need to be cleared. And the difference between a want business and a need business are totally different. And certainty comes always when needs are required. Industries certainly create stability. Today, I work with executives, and we focus on industries that create a certain amount of predictability or certainty. Think of industries like restoration or maybe plumbing or HVAC. If my HVAC system goes out, I've got to get it repaired. Or senior care, my mom needs a little extra help. Well, bottom line is that helps. Or property maintenance and repair. They're businesses that solve real problems, that they handle real consistent demand. And there's less impact with economic swings, meaning if the economy goes up or down, I still have to get help from my mom. I still have to have my HVAC system. I still have to get the water out of my basement because of the flooding. So bottom line is that we also find need-based businesses aren't normally interrupted by AI or impacted by AI. So entrepreneurship isn't about risk, it's about positioning. See, a lot of people think being an entrepreneur, they think about risk, but risk, from that standpoint, is all kind of tied to this idea of a system you don't control. When you're an executive, you don't control anything. Bottom line is they control everything, and you certainly don't control your income. When done right, franchise ownership is about a proven model. It's about predictable demand. It's about a structured system. It's about strategic positioning. It's not guessing. If you're choosing where you want to stand when uncertainty hits, that's a really good thing. My turning point happened in 2007, and I'll never forget the day. I had a lot of certainty in my life. I was a senior level executive at Ford. I was running a $5 billion sales and marketing organization. But I got to tell you, it was a day that I'll never forget. It was in late December of 2006, and I had my boss call me. And I was in a staff meeting, so I jumped out of the staff meeting and took the call with my boss. And my boss proceeded to offer me a separation package, a voluntary separation package. Now, I was blown away. I was a top performer. I love Ford Motor Company. My blood was blue. I couldn't believe it. And that's the day that created uncertainty for me because I didn't know what I was going to do. I ultimately took that package and left Ford Motor Company, but I went from a state of having certainty to uncertainty very quickly. And I know this happens to many executives. So we live in a world that isn't slowing down. And if anything, uncertainty is increasing. And the question isn't, will things stabilize? The question is, where will you be positioned when they don't? Now, moving from corporate dependency to business ownership, it's good, right? That's a really good thing because you're moving from uncertainty to control, from reacting to deciding. So if this conversation resonates with you, like you understand kind of what I'm saying, I'm here. Go to hireyourself.com, schedule a 15-minute call with me. You can tell me a little bit more about your situation. I can tell you a little bit about my free franchise consulting services, and we can see if franchising is a potential path. We know for sure that uncertainty is going to continue on. Why not pick your ability to control your future, to have more certainty in your life when we have more uncertain times coming?